It's great people to interview like Jerry Kramer, Willie Davis, all those guys, Max McGee and Horning. Horning is a favorite of mine, but McGee was always loose. The guy you could go to, remember on the West Coast, he'd always scram up, be out all night, and one time we're sitting in a restaurant, Palo Alto, and McGee comes in with a suit coat on, and Marty comes up, he said, McGee, he said, sir, did you have breakfast with us? He said, yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're just coming in, But Max, you needed a guy like McGee around there with the tension of Lombardi around. One thing I bring back on that ice bowl was that incredible conditions, that Lombardi bought this heating system from George Hallis, not George Hallis the coach, but his nephew, who was named George Hallis, worked for General Electric in Illinois. But it was such a great heating system, why didn't Hallis have it for the Bears? Anyway, they put this heating system in Lambeau Field, and the Dallas Cowboys come up there. And they came up there on a Friday before that Sunday game and wanted to see what the field's like. And Lombardi said, nobody touches the field. It's all marked. It's my field. Nobody touches it. And the Cowboys said, the hell with you. They called the commissioner, who wasn't in Green Bay, was out for the AFL playoff game in Oakland. And he ordered Lombardi, you can't do that. The Cowboys, they're going to have to test that field. And so Vince reluctantly pulled back 50 yards of the tarp, let the Cowboys work out, It wasn't bad in Green Bay. It was 21 degrees, and Meredith and those other guys, boy, it's not bad at all. Then Vince took all of us to a tunnel that said, this field electrified. In that room was all that equipment, And he's like the mad scientist. All these bulbs and lights are moving, and there's the New York Times, the Dallas Morning News, and the Tribune were all there. He's telling us how this system works, Well, that night, the weatherman made that terrible forecast, and the next morning, I guess the Cowboys were staying someplace down here at Appleton, and Meredith always, the famous story, they got a call. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, a wake-up call. Howdy doody, Packer backer. Said, Packer backer. Howdy doody, Packer backer. It's 7 o'clock in the morning and 16 below. And he said, 16 below what? And she said, you stick your nose outside and you'll find out. And he said, when he got outside, I was like hitting over his head with a 2x4 on his forehead. So the field, was covered, and some of the assistant coaches went down before the game and picked up a little of the tarp, and the wind was so strong, it was freezing immediately. And someone said, boy, you better go and tell coach your system's not working. And they didn't want to do it, and they made Chuck Lane, and they said Chuck Lane was a publicity guy. He said, if I go up there and tell him, he's going to kill me. Anyway, Lombardi goes, what? He goes running down, and yeah, the field's freezing. It's just, Chuck Versine told me that game was like being played like on stucco, the mud, and jagged. I mean, you're just getting bleeding all over the place. Lombardi would not let any of his guys wear gloves. Nitschke said he got frostbite, and went down to the Super Bowl. Lombardi kept his team in Green Bay instead of going down to the Super Bowl in Miami right away. And he asked about Nitschke, and he said, he doesn't have that's not frostbite, just a blister. That's all it does is a blister. But, boy, the Cowboys, they couldn't believe the conditions on that field, it was so terrible. And Lombardi's telling, calm down, it's not bad, not bad, it was just awful. And the press box just had doors on each side. It's not the elaborate press box they have today. And we had typewriters, they froze, yeah, the Journal guy could go back to Milwaukee and write, and the Green Bay guy could go back to the Press Gazette and write. But all the rest of the visiting press, and the windows all froze up, and they had Chuck Delaney had to go to get antifreeze in that service station across the street.